Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to epoxy a glitter tumbler. So let's get to it. I'm using just the Ozark Trail cut from Walmart. This is a 20 ounce. I can get the sticky stuff off the sticker. So it's super simple. I'm going to use Mod Podge. It doesn't matter if it's gloss. This is just the one I picked up because they were out of the other one. If you can get your hands on the dishwasher safe one, that's even better. It's just more expensive. So I'm going to get this. And then you just want to go through and put thin coats, or as thick as you want. You just want to make sure that it's not super streaky and it's not super, doesn't have really big, I guess, lumpy lines, I guess you could say. You want it to be smooth, otherwise when you put the glitter down, it's not, like, if there's lines, they'll show up in the glitter. And then Mod Podge dries relatively quickly, so just do it in sections. Ooh, that turned out prettier than I thought it would. The glitter that I'm using for this cup is a mix that I threw together. It's green, black, and silver. Right. And then you just do that with the whole cup. Okay, so as far as the bottom goes, that is I guess a preference. I like to do the bottom of my cup because I feel like it makes it more cohesive. Some people don't. Some people tape off the bottom and tape off the top to where there's a silver line. That's also, you know, not only the maker's preference, but if you're selling it or giving it to somebody, what their preference is. So I guess I do, and you do it just the same. Try to make it connect all along the bottom, which can sometimes be a pain in the butt. You don't want there to be a super harsh line either. And sometimes what I do, if there is like a rigid line, I'll just go through and kind of tap it down with my finger, and if need be, throw some glitter back on it. Okay, so that is step 1, I guess. So the cup is full with glitter. And step 2 is we're going to seal it. Like I said, I'm going to seal it, and I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Clear. I do have the gloss, but they do also have it in a matte. All this is going to do is going to make sure that when you go to epoxy your cup, please don't pay attention to my gross yard. When you go to epoxy your cup, that your glitter's not shifting. When it's a solid color cup, it's not going to matter as much. Or in this case, you know, it's one full glitter coverage. But if you were doing any sort of two-tone cup or something like that, you don't want the colors to shift into each other. So then just back up. Oh, this looks even prettier in the sunlight. Okay. Alright, and then we're just going to leave it sit here to dry for a little bit. Have set the glitter. Make sure it's dry. Like, you don't want to touch it and it still be tacky. You are going to have some, you know, glitter flake off, but it's not tacky, it's dry on there. This is when you're going to start mixing your epoxy. I use, I think the brand is Allumilite. It's a 2-part epoxy, so you've got part A, part B. Separated, they're not sticky, they're not, they don't harden, they don't do anything. It's when you mix it together. You do want to do equal parts. So I use these little medicine cups. I got them off of Amazon. Okay, you might be able to see that it does have the measurement lines, so it makes it super easy to get equal parts on there. I like these big bottles because they have these little nozzles. It's a little better than the smaller bottles, but some people have pumps on theirs. I'm almost out, which makes me really sad. If I am only doing one and I haven't put on the decal yet, I usually take it to about 7.5 on the little cup. Oops. Okay. And then it doesn't matter which way you turn it, but the part A is a lot thicker, and then the part B is a little thinner, I guess. Just pour it into each other. A lot of people use popsicle sticks to stir it. But it does put a lot more bubbles in your epoxy when you do that. You want to try to get as many bubbles out as you can. They do sell epoxy stirring sticks, which is nifty, but I just don't have that. I'm just using the end of a paintbrush to do mine. I have had the problem that if you don't mix it long enough, it stays really sticky and it never hardens, so you want to make sure that you mix it thoroughly. When it starts out, it's going to be super cloudy. I don't know if you can see that. It's super cloudy. There's lots of bubbles, so you just want to mix it all together. So I've got my epoxy all mixed together. It still has bubbles in it. I have never had a issue where if it's still got a few bubbles in it, that it's makes some sort of drastic difference. I know that some people will will make their epoxy heated by putting it in front of a heater or a heat gun, either before they put it on their cup or after. I know some people use a heating gun after they've put it on the epoxy while it's spinning. I've never been in that big of a hurry that I just mix it together and it's fine. Never had an issue. I am using a vinyl glove. There's different ways to apply the epoxy on your cup. I personally just use my hand. Make sure you're wearing a glove though. I know some people use a sponge brush or a regular paintbrush. It just leaves it too streaky and it's too much. Okay. And then it's gonna be interesting while holding a camera. Okay. And just lay it on there. You just want to smooth it out with your hand. Make sure it goes all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. When it comes to do like epoxying the bottom, I tend to do that toward the end. Turn on the turner to move it over. Sometimes it does take 1 or 2 layers. When you're doing this, you want to make sure, like you can feel the glitter under your through your glove. So just keep applying until you can't feel the glitter anymore. Like it's gonna be smooth, because that's kind of the point, you know. Have the epoxy on there, you're going to want to let it sit and turn for a few hours. If you have a motored turner, just let it go, let it turn for a few hours. If you're doing it by hand, you are going to have to turn it for the first couple of hours by hand, just 360, watch for the drips. You don't want to touch it, because then that's when you end up with fingerprints all over it. But yeah, just let it be. Alright guys, that's it. Now you know how to epoxy a glitter tumbler, or at least the way that I do it. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm going to be uploading random tutorials as well as other videos. Not quite sure what the channel is going to be yet, it's still new. So hit subscribe and stick around to find out. See you in the next video.